Now, this month marks a milestone, a very big one in the career of the BBC's one and only Tom Brook, because 50 years ago, in April 1976, he entered Broadcasting House here in London to join BBC News as a trainee journalist. In the 1980s, he moved to New York, where he began to report on cinema. And in the years that followed, he has interviewed virtually every major Hollywood star, from Bette Davis to Timothée Chalamet. He's been looking back at his 5 decades at the BBC.
In recent days, I've been here in London, the city of my birth, compiling a rather different edition of Talking Movies, looking back at my 50-year career in British broadcasting.
BBC, thank you.
Like many people, I've always had a very personal connection to the BBC, its people and its programmes. After all, the corporation has played a big role in creating our collective memory as a nation. BBC One's film programme with Barry Norman was really one of the defining shows on British television in the 1970s and 80s, and I got to work for that programme as its US-based reporter. It was a great job. I got to interview top movie stars and top filmmakers.
You know, you are very convincing in the role that you play. Do you think that now, in real life, people will start avoiding you?
Well, they won't be able to because I'll follow them home.
Millions of Americans are going around saying hoo-ha right now. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's hoo-ha, not hoo-ha.
It's a character, it's a performance. I don't do it like that, you know? It is something that's done.
Thanks very much indeed for the interview. You seem much more intelligent in real life than you do as
Hey,
Rambo or Rocky.
hey.
I always wanted to get stars off message because we would interview them at highly patrolled and coordinated press junkets. And it wasn't always easy. And I think there was a recurring theme in many of the big-name stars I encountered who'd had a kind of meteoric rise to fame, particularly with someone like Julia Roberts, who was getting a record amount of money for her roles. She seemed to have some resentment, in a way, about how journalists treated her.
Do you think the press and the way in which they've covered your acting and your private life have gone beyond a certain line of decency?
Oh, I think that's quite obvious. Yeah, sure they have. It's a choice. They've made their choice and I've made mine.
What's your choice?
To be decent, to be respectful of myself and those around me. And within that, I don't acknowledge or respond to that which I find indecent and disrespectful. We're getting along so well, aren't we?
You know, I read recently that you got paid $8 million for a movie role. Do you stop and think why you're getting that amount of money for a role?
Well, to restructure an old quote, which is, you know, I do the acting for free. In fact, I do. I get paid lots of money to tolerate the stuff that comes with what I do.
You know, much of my BBC reporting career has involved doing pre-recorded interviews, which are then finessed in the editing room. But I do like live broadcasting. You never quite know what's going to happen, and I like the adrenaline rush, and I like the performative aspect of it. Can you hear my audio now? I suppose the most dramatic piece of live broadcasting I ever did was early on in my career, on December the 8th, 1980 in New York, when I relayed to early morning audiences in the UK that the former Beatle John Lennon had been shot dead.
On the line now from New York, from outside the apartment building where the murder took place, is our reporter Tom Brook.
John Lennon was killed 2 hours ago. He was returning home with his wife, Yoko Ono. Shots were then fired, several shots. He was very badly wounded, and the police squad car took him to hospital, and he was pronounced dead upon arrival.
John Lennon has never really left me, and I often think of his music and lyrics. And I think of one song in particular, which I think a lot of journalists actually identify with right now, and that is his quest for the truth, or his frustration with politicians that they weren't giving him the truth.
Just give me some truth. And you can see more of Tom Brook looking back at his BBC career here on BBC News in a special half-hour programme this weekend. And happy anniversary to Tom.